in the polished dining room of our old Greenwich home. The air hung thick with unspoken judgments, the kind that had festered for years like a slow poison in the blood. I sat there, Emily Hart, at 34. In my threadbare jeans and faded MIT hoodie, remnants of a life they assumed was still scraping by, watching my brother, Jonathan, flip through his meticulously prepared binder like a judge delivering a verdict. Our parents' faces, etched with the wear of illness, reflected the quiet desperation of people who'd built a legacy only to see it crumble under medical bills. Emily, Jonathan said, his voice laced with that patronizing sympathy he'd perfected in his Wall Street boardrooms. We've crunched the numbers. Mom's diabetes complications and Dad's Alzheimer's are escalating. Their savings won't last. He paused, eyes flicking to my scuffed sneakers, as if calculating how little I could offer. My sister, Sophia, nodded from her seat, her manicured hands folded over a Hermes scarf. Her life a picture of marital jackpot, wed to a tech mogul whose fortune she managed like a trophy. They'd always been the golden ones, the ones who fit the mold. And me, the dropout, the dreamer they'd written off as a lost cause. But as the clock ticked toward 2:20 p.m., I felt the weight of my phone in my pocket, the trigger for the storm I'd silently brewed for over a decade. This wasn't just about money, it was about the scars of being invisible. The betrayal of blood that turned doubt into dismissal. Growing up in that sprawling Connecticut estate, success was never a suggestion, it was a commandment, etched into every family dinner conversation like scripture. Jonathan, the eldest, had aced Princeton, landed at J.P. Morgan, and climbed to VP by 28. His bonuses funding ski trips to Aspen and a penthouse in Tribeca. He married into old money, a lawyer from a Kennedy-esque clan, and their life was a parade of galas and golf clubs. Sophia, the baby, chose the path of polished leisure, Columbia for literature, but really for the networking that snagged her Ethan Caldwell, heir to a Silicon Valley unicorn. Now she curated art for his foundation, hosting fundraisers in their Malibu beach house, her Instagram a curated shrine to effortless elegance. Me? I'd started at MIT, diving into AI before it was the buzzword du jour. But those sterile labs, those professors droning theories without a spark of real-world fire, choked the life out of me. While classmates crammed for grades, I was hacking prototypes in my dorm, building neural networks that solved problems no one else saw. The tipping point hit junior year. My advisor slapped a B- on an AI model I'd already sold to a Boston startup for $30,000. Stick to the curriculum, Emily, he'd sneered. Flash without fundamentals is folly. I walked out of MIT that week, trading ivy walls for the raw grind of reality. The fallout was a family tribunal, raw and unrelenting. Dad, a retired hedge fund titan whose whispers moved markets, paced the study, his disappointment a thunderclap. You're squandering everything we've given you, he roared, veins bulging. The legacy, the opportunities, do you think doors open for quitters? Mom wept silently, her hands clasped like in prayer, whispering, Emily, darling, think of your future. What will our friends say? You'll end up alone. Scraping by, Jonathan flew back from New York, cornering me with his alpha male logic. Life's a marathon. You can't bail at the first hill. Real winners push through. Even Sophia, fresh from Columbia's ivory tower, chimed in with her velvet-gloved pity. How will you build connections without that degree? Success isn't solitary, it's social. Their words weren't just criticism, they were a sentence, branding me the black sheep. The cautionary tale whispered at holiday tables. I left with $2,500, a battered MacBook, and a backpack. Dad's final barbecuing, When this folly crashes, and it will, don't come begging. We've enabled enough. Jonathan and Sophia bet I'd fold in months. I overheard her giggling about it on a call, thinking it would ground me. That doubt? It wasn't fuel, it was a blade, carving deeper with every rejection. Every all-nighter in dingy Boston walk-ups where roaches skittered across my keyboard. They never saw the nights I coded through hunger pangs, teaching myself machine learning from free online scraps because boot camps were a luxury. Never witnessed the 42 investor pitches that ended in doors slammed, labels like unproven and risky echoing their own dismissals. Betrayal wasn't just their words, it was the silence that followed. The family gatherings where questions about my odd jobs were met with awkward pivots, as if my existence embarrassed them. When Nexus AI finally ignited, a platform using predictive algorithms to shield startups from cyber threats, I kept it shrouded. Not for petty revenge, but because proving myself to ghosts felt futile. Or so I convinced myself. Even as the hurt simmered, a quiet rage building like pressure in a fault line. Those early years were a crucible, forging me in isolation's fire. My office was a sticky booth in a 24/7 Cambridge diner, where the waitress pitied me enough to refill coffee endlessly. I stretched ramen packets into weeks, pawned jewelry from high school for server fees. First ventures flamed out, a data analytics app throttled by Google's policy shift, a freelance AI marketplace drowned by venture-backed giants, a virtual reality training tool that no one adopted. Each flop drained savings, piled debt, pushed me toward the abyss where their prophecies waited. The nadir? A blizzard night in February. Evicted from my rat-hole apartment, huddling in my rusting Subaru in a Target lot. Wi-Fi leeching off the store while my laptop battery faded. Staring at frost on the windshield. I whispered their taunts, quitters don't win. But despair cracked open defiance. At dawn, I sketched Nexus, not flashy, but vital, AI that democratized cybersecurity for small firms ignored by the Symantec's of the world. First client? A mom-and-pop bakery in Somerville. Desperate after a hack wiped their books. My beta saved them $10,000. Word spread like wildfire in entrepreneur circles. Within a year, 500 clients. By year 3, 5,000. Processing threats worth billions. I hired covertly, Lena, a laid-off coder from IBM. Taking stock over salary, Marcus. A sales was betting on my vision with commission-only grit. We bootstrapped in a warehouse loft that doubled as my crash pad. Showers at Planet Fitness. Legal hacks from Reddit forums. While Jonathan headlined Forbes for his mergers, Sophia graced Vanity Fair for her philanthropy. I burned midnight oil. Eyes blurring from code. Voice raw from client calls. The buyout bid started low, $8 million from a mid-tier firm. I held $15 million. No. When Cyphertech offered $55 million, with clauses protecting my team and clients, I signed in a sterile conference room overlooking Boston Harbor. That day, phone in hand, I nearly dialed Dad, but his folly echoed. And I pocketed the fortune instead. Trusts for employees. A quiet Back Bay townhouse. No splashy displays. Family still saw the facade, vague freelance updates. Skipped reunions blamed on shifts. Their pity deepened the wound. A silent betrayal that made every success taste like ash. Jonathan's summons came via email. Crisp and cutting, Emily. Parents' health declining rapidly. Meeting Saturday, 2 p.m. Contributions expected from all. Adjusted for circumstances. Sophia's text followed, M. Come anyway. Even non-financial help counts. XO. Adjusted for circumstances, code for expecting crumbs from their failure sister. But I'd known for months. Via Aunt Elaine's discreet calls about Dad's wandering episodes. Mom's insulin crises. Silently. I'd scouted. Planned. Poured $12 million into Haven Ridge, a bespoke care estate 30 miles out. Tailored for Alzheimer's and diabetes, memory gardens with sensory paths. Insulin tech integrated into rooms. A staff of specialists including Dr. Elena Vargas. Top in neurodegenerative care. Another $4 million endowed operations forever. It wasn't charity, it was armor against the pain of being undervalued. A way to reclaim dignity they'd stripped from me. Friday. I prepped the reveal. Faded clothes from startup days. A dented Prius rental despite my hidden Porsche. Hair tousled. No polish, their expected Emily. The drive to Greenwich stirred ghosts, manicured lawns hiding hollow judgments. Inside. Jonathan's Audi and Sophia's Lexus flanked the drive. Through windows. Their heads bent in strategy, likely divvying burden sans my meager input. Sophia opened the door. Hug perfumed with Chanel and condescension. You made it. Traffic from wherever. Boston, I muttered. Right. That gig economy thing. The house reeked of stasis, photos chronicling their triumphs. Mine stalling at high school. Jonathan ended a call mid-sentence. Emily. Prompt. Eyes appraised my poverty chic. Lunch was tense. Their boasts a barrage, Jonathan's Asia deal. Sophia's Napa Vineyard investment. My inclusions? Pitying probes, see interesting folks in your work. Honest labor's admirable, Jonathan intoned. Not everyone needs the corner office. Then. The pivot, spreadsheets unfurled. Havenwood Estates, $18,000 monthly base. $25,000 with extras. Gap, $12,000 after pensions. Sophia, $5,000 from us, tight with the kids' tuition. Jonathan, $5,500, bonuses help. To me, $1,500? Or $300 if that's feasible. Or visits. Mom winced. Dad stared blankly. Their generosity twisted the knife, the assumption I was worthless. The betrayal of family reducing me to charity. I texted my aide. Riley, initiate. 20 minutes. What if there's better? I asked. Jonathan smirked. Emily. Reality check. Tension coiled. Their dismissal's mounting. You've struggled. We get it. Not everyone's cut for success. At 2:20. The roar shattered it, a Citation X jet screaming low. Landing at the adjacent airstrip. Its sleek form a dagger through their illusions. Windows rattled, faces paled. What the? Sophia gasped. My ride, I said flatly. Jonathan's phone search unearthed Nexus's sale, $55 million. Founder, Emily Hart. Shock morphed to accusation. You hid this? For what spite? No, I countered. Voice steel. You never asked. You assumed failure. The air cracked with revelations, the jet. Haven Ridge's deeds. I built it for them free. Forever. Sophia sobbed. We thought you needed us. You needed to feel superior. Dad's eyes cleared briefly. Show us. The flight there. Silent agony, the tour. Their awe clashing with guilt. Jonathan muttered apologies. Sophia begged resets. But the price? Trust shattered. Bond scarred. As they signed into suites overlooking therapeutic lakes, I felt no triumph, only the hollow echo of years lost to their blindness. Success wasn't the reveal, it was surviving the silence they'd imposed. And in that, I'd paid dearly.